Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox, and we have yet another example of the SNP failing to understand the game of consequences. They keep announcing various policies and new initiatives and things in the hope that people will think that they're, wonderful people. They're virtuous, they're good, they're moral, they're ethical. They're trying to build a better society. And of course, that's not what happens because they don't understand the consequences of their actions. And then, of course, everything goes wrong and they say, well, nobody could have foreseen it. Yes, we can. We can all foresee it. We're just cleverer than you. Stop doing it, you morons. Well, the latest wheeze, of course, is that in order to make the world a better place, Yousaf is introducing yet another hate crime. This time, it's ageism. Now, whether that's old people calling young people callow youths, or women in their 20s calling 50-year-old Karens out for being a bit pointed in their convictions. I'm looking at you, Mary Black. So, they're both hate crimes now because you're making an issue and you're othering someone because of their age. And I think it is a very weird thing for this man to start doing this kind of behaviour, considering he is the one that othered white people and is one of the most bigoted people ever in politics. But we'll have a look at it anyway because it'll be worth a laugh, wouldn't it? And if you are in the mood, do please hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Let's get the truth out there and let's get everyone to see what is going on with these people. So do please hit if you're one of the regulars who hasn't yet hit it, or if you're new and want to join us in our journey towards the truth. Thank you very much. Let's have a look at what this moron is saying. So Yousaf makes ageism a hate crime. As critics fear, grumpy old man Barb could lead to a criminal record. Well, that's the end of that. You'll never see one foot in the grave again. They're just taking another form of comedy away, aren't they? Every time they do this, it's beyond stupid. Miserable old git that and things like that. And, the man doesn't understand what he does. He's sitting there, and he's the most, like I say, he's the most bigoted man in politics at the moment. And he's trying to look for ways of let's stop people saying that. Let's stop it. It's all control. It's all about control. And he's saying, we don't want ageism. Well, actually, ageism was already protected under the 2010 Equality Act. You don't need to make ageism a hate crime. Of course people can laugh. People will laugh. You're going to say that somebody who cracks a joke because of somebody's age immediately gets a criminal record. Because if that's the case, then we're all going to be criminals, aren't we? The infamous hate crime bill was blasted as an assault on free speech, but the SNP government is doubling down rather than backing down. Yousaf has found himself under fire after it emerged ageism will be made a hate crime next year. There's so many things that are hate crimes that nobody is saying anything, and this is the point of what they're doing. They need to control our speech. This is pure Orwellian. They need to control our speech so that we lack the ability to attack them. Next time there'll be politics. Politics speech will be a hate crime. If you comment or if you criticise a politician for his politics, that'll be a hate crime. So even questioning government policy becomes a hate crime. This is the way it goes. This is how dictatorships happen, and it's piecemeal, one slice, and that's what they're doing. So be prepared for that, people. That's what it will be. How dare you criticise the government? That's a crime. You're going to jail. Remind you of anywhere? Anyway, the First Minister was the architect of the hugely controversial hate crime and public order legislation when he was the Justice Minister, which is the most barbaric piece of legislation ever. Somebody walking past my house could see me talking to a friend, can't hear, but could assume that I was talking about them and saying something nasty, report it to the police, and it is deemed to be a hate crime because that person felt threatened by me having a conversation in the privacy of my own house. That's the law. That is the actual essence of the hate crime bill. It is beyond a joke. The bill was labelled draconian by critics who feared it would have a devastating impact on free speech. But it appears the SNP leader is choosing to double down rather than back down with the scope of the Act set to widen in 2024. The Scottish Government claimed the law only refers to behaviour that is threatening or abusive, but critics fear it could lead to criminal records for Scots who use terms like grumpy old man or callow youth. Well, that's okay, but what about describing Humza Yousaf? Now, you see, the great thing about him is he's given us permission now. We've actually got this. We've got this permission. And I did the video yesterday about the guy who actually took him up on his offer. He said, if ever you feel like you're the subject of bigotry, look him in the face and say, fuck off. And so we will. Fuck off, Humza. Fuck off, Humza Yousaf. There you go. And what are you going to do? You're going to make that a law? You're going to make that illegal? We're going to ban people? Load of shit, isn't it? A document published this week by the Nationalist Government states, in Scotland, hate crime law will be changing in 2024 to include age. Describing a hate crime, the Easy Read paper adds, a hate crime is when someone does something to hurt you because of who you are or who they think you are. The criminal thinks that you are different from them and hates you because of that difference. Humza Yousaf hates white people. He's guilty of hate crime. But actually it's not that, is it? Because who says what hate is? Who says what othering is? Who says what an insult is? And indeed, not only should insulting people be legal, it should actually be compulsory. Oh, hurty fees. Well, I'm going to tell you something else. If hurting people's feelings is a crime, I want Humza Yousaf arrested. He hurts my feelings. He's removing my free speech, and I find that offensive. And that's a hate. That's hate crime. Removing my free speech is hate crime. Humza Yousaf needs to be arrested. The Hate Crime Act was passed in 2021, and it also covers offences based on race, religion, sexual orientation and transgender issues. The law also made stirring up hatred a crime, leading to concerns, and I just mentioned this, that someone could be prosecuted for something said in the privacy of their own home. But despite the fanfare, the Act has not yet come into force, and indeed it is possibly going to be Section 35 as well. The latest change could have seen Mary Black in trouble for her rant about 50-year-old Karens in relation to the transgender debate this week. God almighty. See that woman behind her in the yellow coat? She's probably sitting there thinking, I don't know why I chose to sit here. The stench is awful. Toby Young, General Secretary of the Free Speech Union, hit out at the change, telling the Daily Mail, the notion that describing someone as a grumpy old man or a callow youth should be a hate crime and therefore a criminal record that could mean you couldn't get a job is ludicrous. How does the Scottish Government propose to police this? It still hasn't activated the Hate Crime and Public Order Scotland Act because Police Scotland do not have the resources to investigate the deluge of complaints it will receive, with thousands of neighbours and ex-lovers accusing each other of hate crimes. Not a single hate crime set out in the Act has been prosecuted. Adding ageism to this list is therefore just meaningless blather, typical of a zombie government. Oh, hang on, zombies are dead. Is that a hate crime? Oh, you're picking on dead people. Is that going to be a hate crime? It's ridiculous, isn't it? And all you've got to do, the moment this law comes in, is report and report and report and turn every single thing anyone ever says straight to a hate crime and massively over-report it. And there is, of course, a problem with the police in Scotland. They've got a recruitment freeze. They're, 1,600 staff shy. They've got a recruitment freeze. They're not replacing people who are leaving, so it's only going to get worse. So if this law does come in, immediately, every single time, report. And if you are, as an individual, reporting 10, 15, 20 hate crimes a day, do so. Overwhelm the police, because they, by the law, the actual law, they can't pass this one off. They, by law, have to investigate every single hate crime. Make them do it. Report every time. He looked at me and he called me an old git. Report it. Oh, he said I'm a stupid young lad. Report it. Report. And not just that. Every hate crime you can think of, report it. Overwhelm the police. They have by law to investigate it, and then watch the crime figures rocket, because nobody can get anything done and the police are overworked, and then we can all point to the one man whose fault this is. The sooner he's gone, the better. Scottish Conservative Deputy Justice Spokesman Sharon Dowie said the bill had good intentions, but but was riddled with ridiculous legislation that risks turning innocent comments into hate crimes. The spokesman for the Scottish Government said the new offence of stirring up hatred in relation to age requires behaviour that is threatening or abusive. Being rude to someone because of their age would clearly not meet this threshold, they say. But I don't believe a word of them, you know. And like I say, if I went and said, I'm 41 years of age, I'd like your pension. No, you can't have one. Why? Age. Well, that's a hate crime. And then get your pension. And if they don't, just sue them. It's crazy. These people have got so much going on wrong in everything they do, and they waste time wanking it away on shit like this rather than sorting out the NHS, education, transport, social care, the economy, oil industry, anything. They'll do anything other than their damn jobs. They're lazy bastards. But the worst, they're stupid lazy bastards. Anyway, I'm going to stop now and come up. Between finishing that and coming in to do the tale here, it occurred to me, if this law ever does come in, I am just going to have so much fun with the comments section. Not for most of you. Of course, most of you good people are ever so nice. You sit there, you make comments that are well thought out, well constructed, sometimes damn funny, and descriptive, and you know, very, very literate. There's some very, very wise people. But then you get the others. You get the SNP supporters who are just plain abusive. Now, of course, the great thing there is, every time I get an abusive comment, I'll just phone up the police. I'd like to report a hate crime, please. There you go. Every single one. Hate crime, please. Thank you. And they've got to take time. They've got to fill it in. And then they've got, by law, to investigate it. We can overwhelm them like that. Damn, I reckon I alone could overwhelm the police like that. And I'm going to take great joy in doing it. And eventually, of course, the law will then be abandoned. And in fact, I've heard that whenever, if ever, the next government comes in, they're already looking at dropping the bill rather than implementing it. So, yeah, it's just, or at least certainly editing it highly, put it that way. But it doesn't need anything because you've already got protections in law for all these things. You don't need a separate law for it. It's just the control element. That's all it is. But anyway, I shall stop there. Thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button. We are getting there. We do need to build them up. We do need to widen the reach for the channel. And every subscription really helps. So do please, if you haven't yet, do please hit that subscribe button. It's absolutely brilliant if it did. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and remember, be as offensive as you like. I don't care. Unless you're an SNP supporter, in which case, but you can call me any old wanker you like. I don't care. I don't care. I really don't care, you know. Anyway, bye.